Hi and hello, watch fans, and welcome to another edition of the Real Time Show with me, your friendly neighborhood watchmaker, Rob Nuds, and my friendly neighborhood jeweler co-host, Alon Ben Joseph. We are back together in the studio, celebrating our 2-year anniversary, which passed just a week ago, to take us back to where it all began, analysing the upcoming GPHG Awards, which will be held in Geneva next Wednesday on the 13th of November 2024 in the Théâtre de la Man, near the lake, where we are very used to seeing all of our friends at fairs throughout the year. So it's going to be an exciting day. I'm going to attend this year. I've never been before, Alon, so I'm quite excited to see what it's like in real life. Have you ever been to the GPHG in real life?
So funnily enough, I haven't. This is my 5th year as a GPHG Academy member, and I'm going to do my best to fly out on the 13th of November. It's still up in the air, no pun intended. So I'm actually very excited to see if we can make it together, because it's not going to be double the fun. It's going to be 10 times the fun whenever we're together. And before we run down all the nominations and do our game, because this is the 3rd time we are doing this game, and I believe that if you do something 3 times in a row, it makes a tradition. So I want to congratulate you for coping with me for 2 years on the Real Time Show. And more importantly, this is a huge thank you to our community and our dear listeners. Thank you for supporting us the last 2 years, for the passion, the energy, the feedback, the interactions. We call our TRTS community the Watch Asylum. So thank you. We cannot do it without you, and we would not have done it without you. So please keep on doing whatever you do, because it works. It gives me energy.
Gives you too much energy, in my opinion, but let's harness some of that and see if we can use it to burst through the nominations from this year. The way we're going to do it is we're going to highlight each category as we normally do. We're going to give a brief explanation of the pieces within that category. We're not going to go into too much detail about all 6 nominations, as we will find in every category. We're going to pick out top 1 or maybe top 2 each if there's a bit of a tie. Any interesting discussion points we'll raise around that. We'll bounce back and forth, and then at the very end, maybe we'll do a couple of things. Firstly, we will have a look at some of the models that were nominated, or should I say, entered into the competition, but didn't make it through to the nomination stage, and we'll talk about some glaring omissions. And then finally, we will pick our favorite watch of the entire event. Okay. As always, we kick off with the ladies category, which, to be fair, is not hugely experimental. It's normally much of the same. But there's a couple of interesting points within this selection of 6 that we should probably discuss. But let's just break down what we've got. We have got from Arnold & Son, a bejeweled and, I'd say, mother-of-pearl marquetry dial called the Perpetual Moon 38 Night Tide. So it uses their big moon caliber. Chopard Alpine Eagle 33. It's in gold. It has a turquoise dial. It has a diamond bezel and diamond markers for the intermediary hour markers, so not the cardinal markers of 12, 3, 6, and 9. They're applied Roman numerals. We have Fabergé, Colors of Love, Rose Gold, Rainbow Gemstone watch, which is pretty much what it says in the title. It has a rainbow bezel of stones. It has a guilloche pattern dial and diamond set mad numerals, which are quite cool. Hermes Cut. This is the new sporty time-only watch from Hermes. Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda PF Automatic 36 Diamond Set. Parmigiani always ends up being nominated in this category, and rightly so. They are one of the leaders in the women's sports watch space, but this is much the same from what we've seen before. And then Van Cleef & Arpels, again, another regular offender in this category, the Lady Jour Nuit, which is a beautiful dark blue dial diamond set watch. Okay, Alon, take it away.
So before I take it away, many listeners of this podcast love to scroll while listening, and this is very relevant for this episode even more than any other. So go to gphg.org. In the menu, you'll find 2024 edition. The sub-menu is nominated watches, and that's where Rob and I are actually looking. So, Rob, I think that you went for the Parmigiani Fleurier because you often do. So that's the benefit of something become a tradition. You have past results to delve from. I believe you were contemplating between the Hermès and the Parmigiani Fleurier, but I stick with my vote, and your little hint in your intro feeds my voting right now. So tell us what you've picked, and what do you think I have picked?
Okay, so unfortunately, you are wrong, but close. I did choose the Hermes, and I chose it, as I often do with these female categories, because I think this is actually a really nice watch for a daily wear. It's accessible, price is good, the quality is great. Hermes has built its reputation from a producer of leather goods primarily and scarves up to a very credible watchmaker. I think it's a moment for Hermes to win, and to beat off competition from the 5 bejeweled pieces around it would be quite a statement. Is the industry going to make it? I'm not sure. I think the Van Cleef & Arpels might win, but I chose the Hermes. Now, for me, this is a really difficult category to pick for you, because you are a diamond expert, and there's a lot of stones being set around the place. I'm going to discount the Parmigiani Fleurier and the Chopard, because I think that they're just bejeweled versions of non-bejeweled watches, and I think you would probably lean towards either something like me, the Hermes, or something that expresses more handcraft. And I'm going to go with the latter because, well, it's your field of interest. And even though I don't like it very much, because of the skill and the work that's gone into it, and I know the way you respect this kind of craft, I'm going to say that you went for the Arnold & Son.
Not. Ding, 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 ding.
Don't tell me it's Van Cleef.
No, it's neither. It's 0-0. But my second vote is Hermes indeed, because what I love here is the voting has shown that the market, and especially ladies that like watches, are a bit offended when you take a regular model that originally was made for men, downsized it for female wrists, and then when you add diamonds, it's suddenly a ladies' watch.
Right.
Women today, and especially the collectors, don't like that. So your initial analogy was correct. I love the fact that Hermes is in this category without any gemstone on it. And I love Hermes. And the one thing that, besides they make beautiful designs in watches, and they take the art of watchmaking very serious because they invest in manufacturers, etc., the fonts do it for me. Yeah. And also with the Hermes cut, compliment. So I hope that they win.
Mm-hmm.
But I went for the Fabergé. And how could I have not gone for the Fabergé? Because there are a few voice memes already in the TRTS community.
Oh, no. Tutti Frutti. I missed it. Oh, dear. I dropped the ball there.
You missed it.
God. Actually, I would have had that one in third, if I'm being totally honest, because I respect it, but I don't like it very much. I think it's a bit crass. And I just had a feeling you were going to go for the more complex style, but yeah, I get it now. Okay.
So why did I go for it? I couldn't have voted for anything else because of this joke and this internal TRTS joke that I shout Tutti Frutti all day long. But from a perspective as a diamantaire and gemologist, they've done the rainbow, although it's a bit passé now. So Fabergé, get with the program. We're getting off the rainbow / Tutti Frutti train. But I love the fact that this is a oval watch. Not only do I like the most famous oval watch for women, which is Reine de Naples by Breguet, or the Gondolo oval by Patek, but this is almost an egg shape. And why is this so important? Because Fabergé originally made those beautiful enamel eggs that were collected mostly by Russian royalty back in the day. So I love that fact. I love that the gems go from small to big, from 12 to 6. I love the fact what they did with the numbers. So they're dancing interconnected numbers. So, and look at the hands, Rob. Beautiful hands. So they took watchmaking very serious, very relevant. Arnold & Son got a beautiful third position. I guess you voted for that one because I loved the Biver entry for Only Watch. And that reminds me of that watch.
Yeah, it's not a watch I like at all. I just had a feeling you might go for it. But yeah, I like your choice. I like your reasoning to a point. But I hope that you're right with the Hermes having come of age and they get rewarded for entering a mature and beautiful daily wear into that category. Let's move on to the ladies' complication. I'll just run down the models as quickly as I can, and then I'll guess yours, I guess is the way it goes, right? So it's 0-0 at the moment. We have, again, a world timer from Anderson Genève, which, if memory serves, is very similar to the one last year, but I think the one last year was white gold or platinum. This is rose gold with a lovely cherry blossom bridge design. It looks to be Mount Fuji in the background. I think that's what it is from the image. Then we have the Chaumet Swing, which is a heavily diamond set watch with baguette diamonds around the outside in clear and purple or lilac tones, and then a dial that looks to me like feathers. Continuing with the feathery or at least winged theme, we have the Fabergé Compliqué Butterfly Blooms Sincere Platinum Jubilee Edition, which is quite a piece of work, to be fair. It has a script-style numeral chapter ring around the outside, and it has an indicator in the middle of the dial for the minutes. It has a small butterfly on the dial and a beautifully enameled and stone set background. Then we have the Louis Vuitton Tambour Slim Vivian Jumping Hours Sakura. Some great names. Again, with the Japanese theme. Interesting. Very nice. I don't really know where to start with this piece, but there's a small character with a little parasol and a beautiful floral headdress or something along the lines of that in the middle. And again, cherry blossom creeping onto the dial from the 3 to 4 o'clock position and then popping up again around 9 and 10. Then we have the Trilobe, the Exquisite Hour Secret Unique piece, which is a constellation-inspired model using Trilobe's traditional, well, it's become traditional, indication system with the rotating discs, and this one has a moon phase in the offset subdial. Then we have the Van Cleef & Arpels Lady Arpels Brise d'été. So this is a beautiful dial with micro-painted flowers by the looks of things, or is it Champlevé enamel? Quite impressive regardless to look at, and it has a diamond set bezel. Right, I have to guess your pick. Lots of stones. Lots of good work. But I can't get away from your respect for Trilobe. And this is a kind of unusual piece to find in the ladies' complication. I think it stands out. I think you're going to say that one.
Again, no ding ding.
Well, off to a bad start this year.
We are. And I think it's the lack of sleep, the humongous travel you're doing, and either you need more coffee or another drink to top off what you've ended last night.
No, but to be honest, I have no idea what you've picked it. I really don't. I don't even know what my second guess would be. I mean, the Fabergé is beautiful, but I just don't know. I don't know.
To be very honest, it's a very difficult category. When I had to vote for this, I might have lingered the longest time here because the Anderson and the Trilobe are not really ladies. So they took a watch they have, and it's a minor iteration. So I don't think this is the Oscars of the watch industry worthy. Now, I leaned towards Vuitton because I found it funny and fun, although I think the diamonds actually discount the whole artistic design and complication of the watch, because I think it's fun, the jumping hours. Now, the Fabergé goes, same story. I find it fun how the numbers dance, but the diamonds were not necessary. I have no idea what the swing of the Chaumet is doing. So I went for the Van Cleef, although I was disappointed that the push button at 8 o'clock is not a minute repeater. It's, and I say this respectfully, just for the animation. So that's my vote, but not wholeheartedly. Now, I have no idea what you have voted, so I am scared you did almost the same reasoning as I did, so I went for the Lady Arpels Brise d'été as well for you.
I really thought you were going to get this one because I'm just following exactly the same path as I did last year, and I'm going for the Anderson Genève because I kind of like exactly what you described as a negative. Like, I think this is a really elegant, beautiful watch. It's a bit more under the radar. It has a feminine-esque center dial. Men could certainly wear it as well, but that's what I kind of like. You know, I just think it's the best watch, like the most easy to wear. And yeah, okay, is it particularly outstanding in the category in comparison to the others? Well, no, but it's what do the kids say these days? demure and mindful, or mindful and demure. I've seen these memes. I don't know what they mean, but it's classy, it's stylish, it's it's a great watchmaker doing great things. And this dial in particular of these world timers that he does, this is probably my favorite I've ever seen. I think it's just serene. So we're still stuck on 0-0, and now we move over to, okay, we can be quick on this category, I think. So we're on to time only. We have 6 entrants, a few of which we've discussed at length on the show already. We're going to start with the Berneron Mirage Sienna from our good friend and former guest on the show, Sylvain Berneron. We've got Bernard Lederer with the 3-time certified observatory chronometer, a watch that we held in our hands during Geneva Watch Days and enjoyed talking with Bernard about. Chopard LUC Qualité Fleurier. This is a very elegant watch with some rather attractive modern horns. It's kind of like a take on a modern take on the Comte de Vache kind of lugs that we see there, something for which Chopard is already known. Lovely hands, very interesting, subtle design, but not very striking. Chapek Godot, which is, of course, Chapek's new Promenade model, which has the rippled dial in enamel with the offset seconds. HMOs T Streamliner Small Seconds Blue Enamel. This is the watch that famously brought me to tears in a meeting. I think that was actually the previous Geneva Watch Days, wasn't it? So this one's been around for a while, but it just snuck in to the eligible watches due to its release date rather than its announcement date, and that's crucial. And then the Parmigiani Tomda PF Micro Rotor, no date. Gorgeous watch, but again, quite basic. Shall we just say our answer in unison, I guess?
No, this is a very important category. So,
of course, it's an important category.
I'll go first. So, you and I would have voted hands down blind Berneron immediately because, well, you know me, I ordered one, so I'm not objective here. The moment I've seen the prototype, I believe that's almost 3 years ago, I fell literally off my chair and I ordered one on the spot. Mine is bound to arrive soon. So enough shouted from there on to Sylvain, actually everybody who wanted to listen to me, that he's going to win a GPHG. So to make it a self-fulfilling prophecy, I had to vote for him. I did vote for him. So there goes my vote. I already gave it away. And I think you did as well. But because you and I both seen the Lederer, we started hesitating because there goes so much thought and philosophy into that watch that you and I were really taken aback in a positive sense. And then I have a doubt about what you actually have voted for, because we know how much of a fan you are of Chapek and Xavier, and you're a good friend of him and them as a team, and you're actually very important to them, and you're very discreet even to me, because even if I torture you, you wouldn't release secrets on projects you work on. But I have a faint feeling that you might have to do a little bit about something about the Goutte d'Eau. And my gosh, how much do I love that dial. My favorite Bulgari ever is the Tadao Ando Octo with the Japanese garden vibe, which does the central the sub-seconds dial on around the 8 o'clock position and creates ripples. This is better. I love the collective horology collab with Chapek, which was the sand dunes of the sea on the dial. But my gosh, this is delicious, this watch. So, and we know how much you love the Moser, and the Parmigiani. So actually, you love all 6, and you would have bought all 6 if you had the funds. But to shut up, you voted Berneron as well.
I did, yeah. Ding, ding, ding. One apiece. It was it was an easy choice because we've been saying it right from the start. As you said, this is a GPHG winner. It deserves it. It's a generational piece. It's incredible. It is one of the strongest brand launches we've ever seen. But it was lined up against 5 other great watches. But I have an order for these watches, so I'll just tell you. In 6th place, I would have put the Chopard. In 5th, I would have put the Parmigiani because I love Parmigiani. That's the only reason why it beat out the Chopard, which is excellently finished and interesting in its design. 3rd place was, or 4th and 3rd were tough. This was probably Lederer in 4th and Chapek in 3rd because of my bias towards Chapek, but I had nothing to do with this Godot model at all, nor the Promenade collection. I was just a very pleased onlooker when they dropped that this year. Second place would be the Moser, simply because this is the model for me that is the greatest execution of the Streamliner concepts, and it did make me cry, so I can't ignore it. But number one, by far and away, to be honest, is the Burneron. I would have voted for that blind, having not seen all 6. And when I did, although there's a stiff challenge from the other 5, nothing comes close to knocking it off its perch. So, 1 apiece, thanks to Sylvan. Let's move on to the men's category, which is, I had to check then whether this was like men's complication, because you look at it and you're like, geez, is this what they're entering in the men's these days? All right, now, tough one to choose from. We have the Bulgari Octo Finissimo Ultra Platinum, which is one of Bulgari's super thin, complicated watches. The Garrick S3 MK2, or Mark II, if you prefer. The Grand Seiko Manual Winding High Beat 36000, 36,000, so that's the operating frequency of the movement. Hajime Asaka, Tsunami Art Deco, Parmigiani Fleurier Toric Petite Second Platinum, and the Voutilainen KV20i Reversed, which has the balance visible on the dial around 12 o'clock. Tough one. Whose choice is it to guess first? It's mine, isn't it? Damn it. Okay. Oh, dear me. I am all over the place on this one for you. I'm going to kick out the Hajime and the Grand Seiko immediately. And then probably kick out the Parmigiani. I think you respect Garrick a great deal. But next to the Voutilainen and the Bulgari, maybe it's not quite enough for you. Oh, it's a toss-up for me, but I'm going to guess that you went with the Bulgari Octo Finissimo Ultra Platinum.
It's still 1-1.
Dang.
The funny thing is, I'm a huge Octo fan, and that's why you picked that one.
Yeah.
But strangely enough, the one I have, which is the plain dial, titanium, there is no other Octo Finissimo that, besides the Tadao Ando, that I would replace my one with.
Yeah.
Technically, it's amazing. But this is just an iteration of the world record watch of the year before. They just made it in platinum and it has blue subdials. But what puts me off is those drawings on the big barrel wheel.
Yeah.
The first one had the QR code, which was, I have no idea why. And I'm quite sure Fabrizio did not design that. I think it was forced upon him. Hence, it got now a sunburst vibe. I don't even know if this is a QR code as well, but it draws so much attention to it that you miss how spectacular this watch is. So that's why I've dismissed it. Now, you know how much I love Art Deco, and I have great respect for the Japanese people and culture and métier d'art, and I love Art Deco. So the Hajime Asaoka really drew me in. But how can you not want a Garrick?
Oh,
So it actually got my vote.
for me, it's the best looking of the 3 open dials. I should have gone with my gut, really. Yeah, okay, great choice.
And I'm going with my gut. You've chosen that as well.
I'm afraid not. I might surprise you here, given some of the pieces on show, but I've gone for the Parmigiani Fleurier Toric. I love this model. I think this is pure class. Price point's high, but, it got a good bump because the King's a big fan of Parmigiani, and when they released this Toric, I was like, yes, this is what this line needed. A nice cleanup, a little refreshment, and my goodness, that color dial, yeah, for days. I love this one. And to be fair, for me, this was actually an easy choice. My second place would have been Garrick, third, Voutilainen, fourth, probably Hajime, fifth, Bulgari, and sixth, Grand Seiko. I don't like these overly complicated Octos myself at all. I like the plain ones like you, so that was my order. Surprises all round, 1 apiece still as we move into the men's complication. Do you want to run down these 6 models for us?
Sure thing. So the men's complication, the first one, Altia, pure central tourbillon blue, sapphire case, huge ass central tourbillon. Would Rob choose this? Because in the beginning he was anti-tourbillon, but he pivoted. My gosh, he's making my life difficult. Byrne, Byrne, Mecca, cool couple, They're rock stars, lovely people, cool watches. The cubes on the 12, 3, 6, and 9 turn. So you have basically 4 dials in one. Chopard, the LUC Strike 1. So the name says it all. Minute repeater with a central crown. So it goes through the crown. A mono pusher if you want. Die Bethune, DB, kind of a grand complication. They have a sense of humor. You'll see their stereotypical case with the open lugs on the top side of things. I see a 3D moon. I see the date on the 9 o'clock position with a subdial, month, and day. Frank Miller brings back the Long Island Evolution Master Jumper. So square case, rectangular, actually, sorry, I stand corrected, but in a modern iteration, black case with green accents. It's a watch with basically, without a dial, you'll see hours, minutes, and I have to guess that the bottom is either seconds or date. And then we have a very interesting new entrant to the GPHG, which is Kazuo Maeda, if I pronounce that correctly. Heure Universelle. So it's basically, or I would dare to call it a tribute to the old Patek world timers. So very interesting. So while I have the mic, I'll keep on talking and trying to guess Rob's pick, because this might be the most difficult one this year. As I said, he would never have picked a tourbillon, but since he fell head over heels with the HYT Central Tourbillon, it could be a contender. He did not choose the Frank Wheeler. He did not choose the Kazuo Maeda. Although you have great respect for the Bethune, I don't see you rocking that or even voting for it. Chopard, I guess the crown will put you off. So it's either the Burn or the Altia. And I really have no clue. So that means shotgun, Altia. Purity Central Tourbillon Blue. Did I win?
No, you didn't, unfortunately. Altia was my 4th pick in this category. Burn was my 5th. And my bottom was Frank Muller. Although it's probably my favorite version of a complication, which maybe should have meant it won for me, but it looks like it reminds me of a Lego set, a Spaceman Lego set I had in the early 90s. I remember the guys had black helmets and green visors, and that green was exactly the shade. So that's a nice little callback for me personally, but I just don't like it. I had the Katsui Maeda in 3rd. I love the design, but I just feel it's out of its league in this contest with these other pieces. Aesthetically, yeah, definitely a watch I would wear, but I'm not going to vote for it. The Chopard almost had me with its finishing, its beautiful dial color, and I'm a big fan of big crowns, so almost got it. But I just have to say, for me, the Debutune is the best and the most attractive and the closest to what I expect from that brand done in an elegant way. So Debutune was my pick. I am similarly struggling with yours because this is a really tough category. I'm going to cop out a little and say that you also picked the Debutune because I just think you respect Denny so much and would see this in the same way as I do, as like a really on-brand execution of a great concept.
Almost.
Dang!
If it did not have Roman numerals, that would have been my number 1. But I have gone for the Chopin because I love minute repeaters. This is the complications category, although the Alta came very close.
All right. Well, we are still tied on 1-1. This has been an absolute shocking start with a lot of curveballs all over the place. Or perhaps we both should have done a little bit better given our history with one another. But I think there's so many tight categories, it's very understandable that we're all over the map. Okay, Iconic Collection next. Probably the most annoying title for a category. But we have some good entries here this year, ones that really do live up to the billing. First, we have the Breitling Navitimer B12 Chronograph 41 Cosmonaut. That's in a rose gold case with a dark green dial and red accents. Then we have the Hublot Classic Fusion Original Yellow Gold 29mm. This is a callback to the early 80s when Carlo Crocco first launched Hublot with the precious metal and rubber combination that at the time was shocking to the world. IWC Schaffhausen Big Pilots Watch 43 Tourbillon Marcus Buller. So it's a standard looking pilot watch with a very interesting turbine inspired subdial, tourbillon subdial that is. Louis Vuitton Tambour, Piaget Polo 79, and the Urwerk UR102 Reloaded. So it's my turn to guess first. Tough one. I think it could have been one of three, but I'm just going to keep this short, and I'm going to guess that you went with the Urwerk.
Ding, 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 ding.
Praise be, praise be.
So it was easy, although I almost tipped over to the Piaget Polo 79 because I'm vintage 1979. I had a lot of family members that rocked this watch, and gold Piagets. I have fond memories of that watch, and that begs the question that we've dealt on the pod actually many times. What makes something iconic, right? What's in the name? What's the definition? So can a young brand like Urwerk or Hublot be iconic even? And Louis Vuitton, do they make watches more than 25, 30 years to be iconic? So I love the Tambour, but with all due respect, I don't think Louis Vuitton should have been in this category. Is a big pilot, a pilot watch by IWC iconic? Hell yes. Is a Navi timer iconic? Is a cosmonaut iconic? Hell yes. But for argument's sake, yes, Hublot belongs in here. By now, the classic Fusion is such an iconic design. Hate it, love it. It does deserve to be here, in my humble opinion. And Urwerk has rewritten watchmaking history. So yes, they deserve to be here. For you, dear Rob, I am actually in doubt between the Piaget and Hublot. And I have a strange feeling, because of your wonderful mustache, you went for the Piaget, because that suits your porn star vibe, dude.
Oh, Alon. Ding, 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 ding.
Yes.
Finally. You nailed this analysis. I was absolutely 51-49 between the Hublot and the Piaget. You know I love Hublot. This execution, 29 millimeters in gold, it's about as good as it gets for me. That is an iconic watch. And for me, an icon for a brand is the watch that best defines what that brand is. And this is everything that I love about Hublot in a compact and very straightforward package. Easy to understand, elegant, not something that you would associate Hublot with very often. But I have to admit, the Piaget Polo 79 is not just an icon for the brand, but quite an icon for the industry. In the 5th and 6th places, I had the Breitling and IWC, both great watches, both icons for the brand, not my kind of thing. Louis Vuitton came in 4th for me because I think the Tambour revamp of recent years has been extremely successful. The Urwerk, 100% an icon, 100% the brand I respect. But, you know, I love gold these days as I'm getting older and my mustache fills out.
And just to add something that people know we're not BSing, I actually ordered the reloaded UR102, didn't get it allocated. My buddy Roy Davidoff did. So whenever I see him, I have the pleasure of holding it and wearing it for a few minutes. So yeah, I really, really, really love that watch. So going on, quickly jumping to the tourbillon category. Ooh, this is a difficult one for me to guess. So 5 of this is your tourbillon on the dial side. Only one doesn't. The first pick is the Chopard LUC 1860 Flying Tourbillon, a watch that actually, I think a lot of kudos goes to Waco and the Revolution magazine team, is that they made, not one, but I think 2 collabs with this model and put it really on the map and gave it the attention that it deserves. Very elegant, very relaxed. It's a yellow gold case. The dial seems either made of gold or the same color. Second entry is the Daniel Roth Tourbillon Subscription. This is actually an iconic watch and could have been in the iconic category because this is almost a one-of-one replica, dare I use that word, of the original. I mean, Daniel Roth has risen from its ashes like a phoenix. And I know the old Daniel Roth watches actually very well. I've been admiring the brand ever since I'm a kid. I've owned one very briefly, not the wheel. you and I had a lovely meeting with Louis Westphalen, who nowadays works for Fabrique du Temple subsidiaries like Daniel Roth, Magenta. And we had a nice sit down and study these watches. And it is magnificent as it should be. Third one is the H. Moser SC, streamlined tourbillon skeleton. I guess you can visualize what it is. It's a real skeleton. A lot of brands call a watch a skeleton, but often they just remove the dial. But this is really elimination of all the bridges and material that you can. It's almost see-through. Fourth entrant is the Remico Atelier. Gives me old FP Joon vibes or Breguet Tradition vibes. So very basic in a good way. Sartori Billard SB06-24HM. La Nuit, the night. It seems to be a retrograde. Meteor dial. Flying tourbillon at 6 o'clock. So it's a mix between contemporary and, actually it's rather contemporary. Very interesting piece. Very interesting what Sartori does. Last one, Vutilana. It's the only tourbillon that's not visual on the dial side. 20th anniversary. We'll see a retrograde vibe. Power reserve. Big sub-dial for the seconds. And the circle for the hours is asymmetrical. So it's a very interesting play on the dial. 3 Breguet numerals, 12, 3, and 9. So, my gosh, what did dear Rob vote for? In the days that he hated tourbillons, he would have gone for the Vutilana. He did not pick that today. And you're not a fan of skeleton, so that eliminates the Moser. I'm in doubt between the Sartori Billard and the Daniel Roth. Remy Coles could have been a contender. But I think you like the fonts and the playfulness of the dial of the Billard. So you went for the Sartori Billard.
Wow, incredible. I did. Yeah. Congratulations. Really lovely reasoning. Nailed on with every comment. Congrats. I think you went for the Daniel Roth. I think you went for the Daniel Roth.
I actually did not. It was a close call. I'm intrigued by the Remy Coles, but as I said, it reminds me of initial FP Joues and old Breguets, and it seems he didn't bring it to the 21st century, so I didn't pick that one. I'm very intrigued by the Vutilana, because I don't like teardrop lugs, so he used a rather modern Germanic case here. Love the playfulness of the dial, but where I stand with tourbillons, I do want to see them, and if they are flying tourbillon, I'm happier. So I went as well for the Sartori Billard. And also because I don't gravitate so much to the brand. And honestly, I don't know enough about him and the brand. And I'm very eager to have him on the show. But I find it very interesting, beautiful font. It's contemporary with a nod to Art Deco-ism-ish. And the lugs are very sleek.
Yeah, if anyone's not seen this, the thing I'd point out is the hands. Take a good close look at those hands. They are incredibly well finished and constructed. So, lovely watch. That makes it 3-2 to you. So you've got a lead, which would be the first time you've won if you're able to maintain that. So good luck. As we move on to the calendar and astronomy round. I don't mean it, obviously. Okay, first up we have the Anton Suranov Chronotope, which is a very interesting watch. It uses rubies in the aesthetics of the watch on the dial side. On the tips of the hands, we have little tiny rubies that look very much like palette fork jewels, interestingly enough. Then we have the Frederic Constant Slimline Perpetual Calendar manufactured designed by Peter Speak. Then the H. Moser & C. Endeavour Chinese calendar, the IWC Schaffhausen Portuguese Eternal Calendar, the Lohon Ferrier Classic Moon Silver, and the Parmigiani Fleurier Tonda PF Hijiri Perpetual Calendar. So this is a wild category to look at. I'm going to keep my guess succinct, and I'm going to say that because of your fondness for Kurt Klaus and respect for new complications, you chose the IWC Schaffhausen Portuguese Eternal Calendar.
Ding, 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 ding.
Finally.
What would have been my second pick?
Probably the Freddie C.
Yeah, probably. Although, I think it's amazing what Peter Speak did, because he's actually a magician in eliminating stuff, and it actually works very much. The Anton Suhanov intrigues me, but I don't find it visually beautiful. And if there is a calendar or astronomy watch, I want moon phases on there, as big as possible, or double ones. And I'm a huge fan of Laurent Ferrier, but again, very elegantly done, but I don't like the Roman numerals. The EG is uber cool. Would have this been the first time they've entered the competition this as a novelty, I might have picked that, because I love the fact when watchmakers play with different lunar calendars. But this is just a new dial, so that's why I didn't pick it. The Moser, it's cool what they did, because it's basically retrograde-ish vibes, but it really does not appeal to me.
So hang on a second. Did you just list those in order? Because that's exactly the order I had them in for you. I had the LWC, then the Freddie C, then the Anton, then the Laurent, then the Parmigiani, then the Moser for you.
Yeah, well done.
Good.
But I find the Moser ugly even.
Yeah, so do I. I don't like it, unfortunately. I love the Parmigiani, but similar to you, yeah. Interesting stuff. That dial, though, incredible. So what did I go for? It's 3-3 at the moment. You've got a chance to take back the lead.
Yeah. So you gave me some hints, although I knew you would never in your life pick the Moser. Freddie C neither. You're in the gold vibes. You love Parmigiani. Well, actually, you are quirky, so you could have picked the Anton Suhanov. But maybe because you are a watchmaker, I think you should pick the IWC, so I'll go with that.
Logic exceptional as always. Ding, 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 ding.
Yes.
It's 4-3. 4-3 to the big man. Right. Moving on to the mechanical exception category. And this is a visual feast, to say the least. It's a funny thing because they're very different watches, but when I look at them simultaneously, it kind of feels like one explosion of futurism and darkness, dystopian watchmaking coming at me. So what have we got? Beauvais, 1822, recital 28 prowess 1. Now, Beauvais, as we know, has a habit of being somewhat extravagant when it comes to aesthetics. This is a pretty dark and edgy dial from Beauvais, and a cool one, to say the least. Then we have the Bulgari Octo Finissimo Ultra Kosk, very similar to the model we had in contention earlier, but a couple of changes, especially aesthetically, with the dark grey subdials as opposed to blue sunburst. Then the Hermes Asso Duc Atelier, which looks to me to be a triple axis tourbillon and a striking mechanism. I can't see exactly, but it's complicated as hell. Then we have the MB&F HM11 Architect, which of course is one of the most recognizable watches on the market today, with its 4 protrusive elements at the cardinal markers. And then we have the Piaget Altiplano Ultimate Concept Tourbillon, exceptionally thin tourbillon, dark watch with gold accents from Piaget, very handsome. And the Ulysse Nadan Freak S Nomad, which we've discussed at length on the show previously. Alon, I believe
it's my turn, and I knew immediately what you picked. I didn't even need to think. Split second, Ulysse Nadan Freak S Nomad.
Correct. Dang, yes. I am so transparent. I struggled with this for you really only between 2, and I may even be wrong with both of these, but I thought you were somewhere between the Ulysse and the MB&F. And I know you love the Ulysse as well, but I am going to guess that you went with the MB&F, but I'm not confident at all.
Pity, because you did not guess correctly. I went as well for the Freak S Nomad, because I love these Freak watches. It was a tough call. I've looked at the Hermes. I love the case of the Arceau, but not for me. But I love that they created it. It's super elegant. It's very interesting what's going on there with the minute repeater and the 3D tourbillon. And it's crazy. And you won't expect that from Hermes. I love MB&F. as much as I love Uberg. I'm very happy that they created this watch because it had to be created, apparently, because that creativity was sitting somewhere and need to come out. And there's no other brand than MBF that can do this and should do this. But it's maybe the first time ever that I would use the word ugly linked to MBNF. So aesthetically, it does not appeal to me at all. And I don't dare to say they shouldn't have made it. What I did say about the MBNF, the Moser in the category before, they simply should not have made that watch. I'm not going to say that about the HM11 Architect. It's technically bizarre. It's bonkers. You can twist it around. It has 4 dials, basically, and a top side view. But strangely enough, I prefer the Mad 1 over this one. And you both have a visual effect on the top dial side. And that's not a compliment. But
it is to the Mad 1, really. I mean, the Mad 1S is great. I had it on my wrist again the other day at the Watch Pro Salon, and I really, really, really respect that watch. Okay, so you're 5-3 ahead now. You've got some daylight between us. This is looking like it might be a first win for you, so get the confetti ready. Chronograph coming up. Okay, you know chronographs are my favorite complication. I'm wearing a chronograph right now, and this, I have to say, was a bit of a disappointing category for me. Let's run through the nominated timepieces. We have the Angelus Instrument de Vitesse, very traditional-looking doctor-style chronograph, to be fair. We have a Louis Vuitton with Recepi LVRR01 chronograph as Sonnerie. Very memorable watch with striking lugs. They don't literally make sounds, they're just visually striking. Messina Lab chronograph monopoussoir, Sylvain Pinot and Messina Lab. We have the Parmigiani Fleurier Toric split seconds chronograph, the Tag Heuer Monaco split seconds chronograph, and the Zenith Chronomaster original triple calendar. So, it's my turn to pick.
yes,
Tough one. I was wildly uninspired by pretty much everything in this category. It came down to a choice between 2 for me. I feel like it will come down to a choice between 2 for you as well, although actually a different 2 from the 2 I was struggling with. To keep things concise, I will say you went for the Messina Lab chronograph monopoussoir, Sylvain Pinot and Messina Lab.
almost.
Ah, man, I am getting battered today. It can't be almost. There's nothing almost like it out there.
Almost. You know what?
Wow.
Because you're giving me daylight. I'm
Yeah.
going to give you a bonus pick. What is my second? And if you guess that one, you'll get a point.
Look, I don't need your pity. And more to the point, yeah, I have
You do
no,
need my pity.
I have
So
no
come on,
idea.
grab it with your hands. I'm reaching out a hand to you. Grab my hand.
Look, I'll have another guess, but I'm not taking a point even if I get it right. Honestly, look, let me work through the reasoning. The tag is ugly, and it's not what a Monaco should be. The Louis Vuitton and Recepi collab, I think it's a disaster aesthetically. I absolutely abhor the case. You're not a huge Parmigiani fan, and I don't think that the chronograph makes the most of the Toric case for you, at least. And that means it would be between the Angelus and the Zenith. And I know you love the Zenith, but you had a great deal of respect for the Angelus when you had it in your hand. I'd say the Angelus?
You still don't get a point.
Okay, good.
I did try to order the Angelus for my private collection, but I did not manage to obtain the limited edition. I love that watch. I love monopoussoirs. But there's one thing that I love more about chronographs, and that's rattrapants, split-second watches, doppelchronographs.
You chose...
Very happy.
No.
Which one did I choose?
The tag?
No. Parmigiani. Dude, I do love Parmigiani Fleurier. I love Parmigiani Fleurier, and another meme and signal word by Alon on the TRTS. Utterly.
Yeah.
I love Michel Parmigiani. I used to retail the brands for a long period.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe the most elegant brand out there. And Hermes is very elegant, but Parmigiani takes the crown. Guido Terrini is fantastic. I think that's a match made in heaven. I love gold watches. I'm not too keen on the turned bezel, but the simplicity of the dial forgives the details on the bezel. Now, I went for that one.
What a choice.
I'm happy. Yeah, there are many monopushers and many rattrapants in this category. The Tag Heuer is fugly. I have no idea how that passed aesthetic committees at Tag Heuer Manufacture, but I'm happy they made it. Should Tag Heuer make a Rattrapant? Hell yes. They're all about racing, aren't they? So I'm very happy that they made the caliber, but the execution, punish points. Now I'm with you 100%. Rexepi is amazing. He's a genius. Love what he does, caliber wise, but the designs are not there for me. I'm happy that Vuitton managed to twist his arm to get a collab out of it. I have no idea how they did that. But the backside is more beautiful than the image we're seeing on the main page, which is the smoky sapphire dial with gold accents. The other side is more beautiful to me. But you're right. If the Parmigiani wasn't there, I would have gone for the Angles. It's splendid.
Okay.
And regarding Zenith, I love Zenith. I love the Chronomaster. I own many Zeniths, but the triple Callan doesn't do it for me. I don't know why.
All right. Okay. Well, I think that was a great pick on your part, but what did I choose?
Same as me. Parmigiani Fleurier, Torque split seconds chronograph.
I actually didn't. Although if I could own one of these watches in isolation, I would choose that one. But I voted for a watch that was relatively more impressive to me in its price point, but also because of its context, where it sits in the market, what it's competing with. So for me, I voted for the Toric earlier, the time only. For me, that's the Toric I would choose. And even though chronographs are my favorite complication, that doesn't mean that I would take every time only dial and slap a chronograph on there if I could. And I feel that Toric, I described the previous one, I think, as serene, or maybe I said that about the Anders in Genève, but that it has that sage green blasted dial it was serene. It was classy. It was elegant. It can be worn in the evening. It's subtle enough. And to be honest, it has enough presence to be worn casually as well. This one, for me, is an exceptional watch and one I'd love to own, but it isn't an improvement on the time only. Whereas the model I chose, the Zenith, is, I think, the best thing that you can get from the Chronomaster line. The triple calendar for me really works. I normally balk at the use of a traditional gold on blue date in a modern sports watch, but here, because of that charcoal, almost anthracite dial, I feel that it's extremely elegant and extremely cohesive, and that's the one I picked. Yeah, so the Zenith was my choice.
Interesting. Your reasoning is spot on. It's such great value for money, and all of you listening, if you don't own an Omega Speedmaster with an 1861 or a 3861 caliber, do yourself a favor and get one. And if you've never owned an El Primero caliber, do yourself a favor. Either jump on the old bandwagon of the 400 El Primero calibers, they're sheer joy, but the newest 3600 platform is spectacular. And a lot of people are complaining that they're expensive, but still, if you benchmark it to current offering, it's amazing value for money. So I agree. Well done, Rob. Going quickly to the sports section, because you called this a sports watch, but now GPHG chose 6 different models, or the members of the Academy, and now the jury is going to give their verdict next week. So first up is the IWC Schaffhausen Pilot Watch Performance Chronograph 41 Mercedes AMG Petronas Formula One trademark team.
Trademark.
Just for that title.
Disqualified.
Should get disqualified immediately. And I'm still on the fence if they did a good thing by marrying pilots' watches that are meant for actual pilots up in the air to F1 pilots. So we can debate about that later. Second entry is the Ming 37.09, the Bluefin. Parmigiani Fleurier, again, it's amazing how many entries they have this year.
Yeah.
On the PF Sport Chronograph. As you see, I'm skipping the description, what they look like. Although for the next one, I urge you to look. Singer Reimagined, Dive Track. This, for me, could have gone straight to the iconic category, and they don't need to wait 25 to 30 years for me. But okay. Fifth one, Tudor Pelagos FXD Chronograph Cycling Edition.
Yeah.
What's up with these brands? Whenever they make a full blacked out watch, they make super long titles.
I have no idea.
Last one. Last one, Zenith, again, Defy, Extreme, Diver. Total new watch. Interesting that it's not in the dive category, but sports category. But okay, it seems this category is a bit all over the place. This year, I actually don't need to think. You chose the Singer Reimagined Drive Track, and if it wasn't there, you would have chosen the Ming. Do I get 2 points?
You don't. No. But my answer for you was exactly the same. It was between the Ming and the Singer for you, and I think you went with the Singer, and Ming was second, a close second.
You get 2 points from me.
Don't stop having pity on me. It's only 5-4 now. I've closed the gap. But no, to be quite honest, the model I chose is neither of those pieces, although I do think they're the obvious ones. I'll give you a clue, okay? Did you know that I'm synesthetic?
No.
So that means like I feel in color, right? So like I interpret the world like everything has a color to me, like words or feelings or memories, like they're all colored.
Yeah.
So I'm very sensitive to certain color combinations in a good way and also in a bad way. Like I react violently to clashes, but I enjoy subtle harmony between colors. And there is one watch in this collection which is unlike any other that I've seen on the market. So which one is it?
Zenith.
No, that one. I mean, that's low hanging fruit.
Parmigiani.
Parmigiani.
So you went subtle.
I went subtle.
Subtle. Yeah. I should have known it because you talked about the Sage. Yeah. So again, what you said, I said, it's so elegant, the brand and everything they do. And you're right. It's so elegant. I don't even know what the color is to describe it.
Yeah.
The subdials and the flange. I don't even know what color it is.
I'd say it's like a steel grey blue or something along those lines, but with the texture of the white, which is really important, because if it were a flat white dial, it would be a bit stark and it would be very cold and a bit too weak. But that texture adds warmth to the dial, which pulls in this steel blue grey. And not only does the texture add warmth to the dial, the texture on the strap, which is a paler version of the steel blue grey, pulls in the dial. So this is something I always talk about bringing the outside in. So to make the watch a cohesive whole, this is a really successful execution. The date window between 4 and 5, because I normally hate contrast dates. I like color match dates. So you would think, okay, the sensible thing there would be a white wheel with a black or a steel blue number. But for some reason, because they've aligned it horizontally, so it just sits there as like a very functional aperture through which the date can be read, and paired it very subtly with a little tiny black hour markers, there is a cohesiveness there that is legible and also satisfying. So that's my pick, and I think it's a really, really nice under-the-radar piece. But who do I think is going to win this category? It probably should be Singer, but I feel like Ming's got a really good shot of winning this category. I really, really do. But let's see. It's an interesting one.
And I'm very curious to hear what you would have picked if the Parmigiani wasn't there with such an elegant dial.
Yeah, I mean, the IWC would be bottom for me, then the Tudor, then the Zenith. And I'm not a huge fan of that Zenith. In person, it's much better than it looks on pictures. But what would I have picked? I was really leaning towards the Ming because I think it's a cool way to do a dive watch, but come on, you can't really overlook the majesty of the Singer and the genius of Marco. So yeah, it would have been the Singer number 2 and the Ming number 3 for me.
I agree. You're going to describe the jewelry category, but I do have a bit of pity on you. Don't fall into the rainbow pitfall this time. So I'm giving you a hint here.
I still don't know if I'm going to have a chance of getting this one right, but okay. The rainbow one that Alon is talking about is the Gucci G Timeless Planetarium, which uses enormous colored stones for the hour markers. It's a sight for, well, eyes, I guess. Not sore eyes that might finish them off. Okay, we also have the Bulgari Fenice High Jewelry Secret Watch, which is one of the most remarkable objects I've ever seen in my life. The Chopard Laguna High Jewelry Secret Watch, again, like this is real fine jewelry. Happens to also tell the time. The Damiani Margarita Desert Garden Secret Watch. Now, this is a stunner. Colorway is perfect. Lots of yellow, I assume diamonds or citrines or something like that. And then emeralds and, 2 times. That's special. Dior Montre Grand Soirée de Abil, the hardest watch to pronounce in this year's contest, and I've definitely butchered it. This is what is it? A bee, a bejeweled bee on a sea of diamonds, a bed of diamonds. It is quite striking. It does tell the time, but only just via two little hands positioned at 12 o'clock. And then the last one is the Piaget Aura High Jewelry Watch, which is all diamond encrusted watch with a dial comprising mostly not baguette cut. There's many cuts in there, but mostly dark rubies, I believe. So, whose guess is it? Don't say it's mine. Is it mine? It's mine. Damn it. Oh, Janie Marcus. Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I'm going to discount. Well, you gave me the clue to discount the Gucci, but it wouldn't have come close anyway.
Would you have discounted it?
Yeah, 100%. I think it's absolutely abhorrent.
Okay, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you.
I'm getting rid of the Dior. That's gross. I think the Chopard is really impressive, but I'm going to drop that out of your category. I think the Piaget is a bit too Jacob & Co. for you. I'm looking between the Damiani and the Bulgari. These are extremely fine pieces of work. The Bulgari is actually like a sort of peacock design, I believe. Some kind of bird, at least, looking back towards the dial. Damiani is just incredible. What a cough. So my feeling is, I don't know if these are your top two, but my feeling is you're slightly biased towards Bulgari because it's Bulgari, and that is an exceptional and artful piece. But as a stone guy, I think that Damiani is something you would have a lot of respect for. So I'm going to go for the Damiani.
No, you overthought it.
All right.
Don't overthink things. So this is very interesting. 4 of the 6 are actually jewelers originally that started making watches. And then we have 2 fashion houses that also made watches and then later jewelry. So Dior and Gucci really don't get it. There's nothing elegant about it and no hardcore métier d'art. Now, Piaget did something from the 70s again, and the crown has been taken by Jacob & Co. and does it better. So you were right. They should stick to manufacture things and ultraplanos and whatever. Now, I think the Damiani is cool, but too cliche with their daisies. Chopard and Bulgari elevated to art. And it was a close call, but Fabrizio has my heart. Bulgari used to have my heart. They're bolder, and remember, molto non troppo. A lot,
but not too much.
Not too much. And that's it. So Chopard gets a close second, but it's too much with these shells and tortoises, although... Yeah. And I love secret watches. So you did guess right, because 3 of the 6 are secret watches. Love that. And without hearing your intro, I would have picked Bulgari for you as well. But because of your intro and you guessing Damiani for me, I think you also went for the Damiani.
I didn't. I went for the Piaget.
Oh.
Because it appeals to my sort of slightly,
inner porn star. Yeah, I know. Okay.
I'd wear it, though. I would wear it. Yeah. Love it.
You know what?
What?
You know what? It would look amazing on you, on that hairy wrist and those fluffy shirts you wear.
Fluffy shirts? Fluffy shirts?
Yeah.
Fluffy shirts you're talking about?
And you have a velvet tuxedo, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, my God. That watch would be...
Is it burgundy?
It is burgundy, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Shoot. You know what? Brands that are listening, please invite Rob to a red carpet event. And if it's by coincidence... is a Piaget event, please loan him this watch.
Do you know how much it costs?
Get it. I don't care. You know how many clicks you're going to get if Rob is going to rock this watch?
Yeah, true. It's 1.67 million Swiss francs, by the way. So I would gladly take a loan of this piece. But yeah. All right.
Bargain.
Yeah. Moving on. It's still 5-4 to you. We've got 3 categories left. And not much time, so let's whiz through this one quickly because it's the least interesting of the 3. The artistic crafts: Anderson Genève, Jumping Hours Black Jade Stone, Chopard LUC Quattro Spirit 25 Years of the Dragon, Hermes Arceau Chorus Stellarum, Louis Vuitton Escape Cabinet of Wonders Snake's Jungle, Piaget Glowing Weave Watch, and the Van Cleef & Arpels Lady Arpels Jeu Enchanté. So,
what did you vote, do I think? Since I am going to stick very closely to the category artistic craft, I hope you did not vote just visually or because of your color, aura, yoga, spirit, animal vibes. I hope you just looked at artistic craft. I must say, I'm not really hardcore impressed with all the artistic crafts shown here.
Yeah.
I find maybe that Louis Vuitton did the most together with Van Cleef. The Hermes is not bad. I don't know why, but I have a feeling you went for the Chopin.
I didn't, but it was probably my second. I went for Anderson Genève again because, you know, I love that watch.
Yeah?
Yeah, I mean, I'm voting for what I'd wear sometimes.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I think these 6, I would have bought that. I love Anderson Genève, but is it really artistic? Hasn't this watch been in a category already? I have a déjà vu. Yeah, I have a déjà vu vibe. Is this the entry for the only watch?
I believe it is.
Right, it can, of course. Why not?
Why not?
So I think we've voted for this watch already. Okay, what did I pick, Rob?
I think you picked the Van Cleef.
Yeah, I did.
Oh.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh.
Yeah, I did. Although I'm not in love, and I think they should have dumped the diamonds because the dial is beautiful, and I love the fact that the central axis of the hours and minutes sits in a bursting sun or whatever it is.
Yeah,
it could look like a microscopic COVID-19 bacteria, but okay. Going to the 14th category, Petit Aguil.
It's 5-5 now, by the way. It's back on level terms.
Yeah, you're very adamant to say that. I skipped over that very quickly. Okay, Petit Aguil. That category is the little main prize-ish, right? Overall category thing that doesn't have too hefty of a price tag. First one, Amida. Amida is revived. It's back by an amazing designer. He does a great job for others. Mathieu Allegra. Great guy, great designer, very elegant, very modest, and he's decided to step into the manufacturing side of things. And I'm happy he did, because this is a casquette watch. They call it a take-off edition. Second one, Christian van der Klauw with the Ariadne. So Dutchies are competing. Interesting. The third one is Frederic Constant in a collab with Seconde that took the watch industry actually by storm. So it was very cool to see. Furlan Murray with the Perpetual One. They teamed up here originally with Tixier Renault. So very, very interesting technically. Kudoke with the 3 salmon. Also very visually interesting. It is retrograde. How do you call this caliber, Rob? I forgot the name. Where it jumps in 3 layers of retrograde.
It doesn't jump. The hour hand has 3 hands on it, and they're all different lengths. So as one passes out, the other one passes in, right? That's why they've got the bottom half of the dial.
They covered the...
It's kind of similar to like the Urwerk Wandering Hours concept in terms of how the time is told, but on levels instead of wheels. Much simpler. You can do that with just a basic movement if the dial layout's right.
Yeah. And then the Tudor Black Bay 58 GMT. So, novelty for this year. Black and burgundy GMT bezel, gilt out version. So, actually a tough call for me to guess. For you?
I think it's me to go first, isn't it, on this one?
Is it?
I think so.
Please go.
So yeah, it is tough. This is an extremely competitive category. If you look at the models that were entered into this category, you will see basically 4 or 5 lineups of 6 pieces that could all have been just as worthy as being in the final runoff as these 6. I'm amazed at some of the pieces that didn't make it, and a little shocked of some of the ones that did. Obviously, we would expect to see the Tudor here because Tudor's always there. Amida is striking. The others, though, good. Some very good. But the competition was so stiff. It's hard to believe sometimes what doesn't make it into the final 6. For me, this is very tough to choose yours. I'm not at all confident. I think it's maybe between the Christian van der Klauw and the Frederic Constant second. I'm actually going to go with that, the Freddie C, because I think that you know how important that was to the brand and to Romaric, and it was very popular. So that's my choice.
Ding, 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 ding.
Oh, yes. Oh, that's the best guess of the day for me. Finally.
Well done. I actually found it very difficult to pick for you. I eliminated the Tudor.
Yeah, because I hate it.
Yeah. And technically, I think you admire what Furlan Mary did, but you wouldn't have not bought this watch because simply you don't like the skeletonized or the lack of a subdial, basically. It could have been an Amida, but I think you would prefer the Gérard Perregaux casquette. Van de Cloud doesn't tickle your, well, you know what? So, Kudoki for the Constant. I know how much you love Romaric as well. I'm not sure you would have bought this Fred de Constant. Maybe you would, but this is my pick for you.
I'm afraid not. And this would have been a difficult one for anyone to get because you're right. Your analysis of the Furlan Mary was correct. I don't normally like open subdials, but it was what I picked in this category. And the second place for me was Christian van der Cloud, which is surprising maybe because, yeah, it doesn't tick many of my boxes, but I've had your Ariadne on my wrist and I've really grown to appreciate and love it and see it as like a bit of a throwback to the earlier stages of my career. And it's a really good value watch for a brand of such rapport, in my opinion. So I would say that's my number 2. Amida's probably number 3. Freddie C number 4. Kudoki 5 and Tudor 6. But the Furlan Mary, it's just the best looking watch in my opinion, and it's also impressive what they've done. I don't care that it's a Furlan Mary per se, although the one Furlan Mary I own is exceptionally well made. The Mecha Quartz chronograph, like the very first. I've got one of the prototypes actually from the early days. Great watches. This is a nice one. So that is my pick. And that means that we enter the final category with me leading 6-5 in a stunning comeback. And this category, in contrast to the previous category, is about as heavy hitting as I've ever seen a lineup of 6. There is one model from this 6 that I don't think should be here, but the other 5, any single one of them would be a worthy winner. So what do we have? We have the Beau Bleu, Second Francais from our good friend Nicolas Ducador Femme. And this is interesting because the second circle, that's the one towards the outside of the dial, is actually on a disc, on a transparent disc. So it's floating above the dial. If you haven't seen this in real life, it's a really striking aesthetic. I love these watches. They have been soaring since Nicolas launched the brand about 4 or 5 years ago now. It's really hit the ground running, and these are up-and-comers like few others. Next up, we have a Christopher Ward London C1 moon phase with a Aventurine-style dial and an enormous moon. Then we have the Furlan Mary Disco Verde, which is one of the most, I would say, talked about new releases in recent times. It's a floating circular watch, the Disco Volante, I think is the collection name. Comes with a brown dial and a blue dial as well, and it has been wowing people who have had it on the wrist. The Colloquium Project 1, of course, we know this brand very well. We had the guys on the show. We love them all, and we think this is one of the most stunning pieces of recent years. The Otsuka Low-Tech number 6. This has really been a popular watch amongst the hardcore collectors community in recent years. Check out this brand if you don't know it. The way they indicate time is incredible with little dial side modifications. And then the Space One Tellurium, one of the most discussed watches on this show, as well as one of the most discussed brands, headed up by Theo Offray and our good friend Sexy Boy Guillaume Lede. Alon, I think, does it fall to you to guess my piece, and I do not envy you here?
Yo, this is crazy. I've never had in my life that all 6 watches I want to buy. I already own 2 of the 6, so that would make it very easy for you. And it's a matter of time that I buy an Otsuka Low-Tech. Beau Bleu, shout out to Frédéric Tempier, our one of the first TRTS community members. He helped out the boys there and put it on my radar. I was blown away. Love what they do. I've never had a watch without lugs until our Aikipot collab. It might be that the Disco Feather becomes my second watch ever that is a full circle without lugs. Not usually my cup of tea. You said initially one shouldn't be here. Are you referring to the C1 Moon Phase by Christopher Ward?
I am, yeah. It's well out of its league here.
Well, funnily enough, it might be the most boring Christopher Ward if you look at the case, and not innovative, because Christopher Ward is really pushing the envelope and doing great stuff the last 5 years. And I have a feeling that Adrian Buchman had something to do with it. What you didn't mention is that it seems there's just one moon floating, because the disk of the moon phase is exactly the same aventurine as the Dow, and there's nothing else on there besides Swiss made. So I love the fact that they took off their logo, no hour markers, no minute markers, no nothing. And therefore, I do think they deserve it. And strangely enough, this could be my third Christopher Ward, because the first one I have on my desk. Second one I'm waiting for, which is the Bel Canto. And this might be the third one, because I love big moon phases. And if you can't afford an Arnold Sun, they don't leave you a choice. So, I already own the Space One and the Colloquium. For me to guess what you have picked is a close call between the Beau Bleu and the Colloquium. And I think you voted for the Beau Bleu in this competition for this category. Please give me a point.
I can't give you a point. I'm so sorry. Look, I do have a massive man crush on Nicholas. Yeah, that's fair. He knows that well enough. We were out together in New York the other day and getting quite merry.
Both with your mustaches?
Both of our mustaches. They did not touch, regrettably. But they did stand side by side at a overpriced bar and, yeah, topping very wide grins, shall we say, and nestled just beneath some blurry eyes. It was a wonderful evening. Always great to see him and always great to see his watches. But no, this category was an absolute humdinger. It was a tour de force. These are watches that retail for less than 3,000 euros. Can you believe it? Like, okay, the Christopher Ward for me is a great watch. It just happens to be standing alongside 5 of the most incredible value propositions I think watchmaking has ever seen. Okay, so the Christopher Ward would come in 6 for me. The choice between 4th and 5th is a really painful one for me to admit, because it is between Bubbler and Phil and Mary. And I put Phil and Mary in 5th, which is shocking, because if this watch wins, it is a deserved winner. Absolutely. And Beau Bleu, I am biased because I love the brands. I love the people behind it. But the top 3, look at that Colloquium, the Otsuka Low-Tech, and the Space One. I mean, they are all more, the Otsuka and the Space One are more complicated. And the Colloquium is just so wild in the way that it's made, with the cast case and then this multi-level luminous dial. It's an incredible entry into the market, and one that I need on my wrist. I had one on my wrist at Wind Up, actually, and I was just very impressed by the way that it wears. Third place for me was the Otsuka Low-Tech. I think it's gorgeous, but the Colloquium topped it because of the way that it's made. But number one, for me, thanks to wearability and, to be quite frank, complication at this price point, originality and ambition, was the Space One Tellurium. I had to go with my head a little bit here over my heart, which might have led me to the Beau Bleu, the Colloquium, or the Otsuka. But I want a Space One. I want us to do a Space One Tellurium collab with the brand. And normally when I see a watch like this, I'm like, okay, it's cool, it's great, it's ambitious, but it's going to wear like shit, and it wears incredibly. It's so comfortable on the wrist. And I don't think you're going to get anywhere near as many questions about any of these other pieces, maybe the Colloquium, as you are about the Tellurium when it's on your wrist. It's just an incredible piece of work. Probably, if I'm being frank, I think it's the best thing Guillaume's ever released. And that's saying something, but it's just, it's peerless at that price point. And so, to my choice for you, yes, you own 2 of them, which may be a bit of a giveaway, but choosing between those 2 would be hard enough anyway. I do think you've got a lot of time for the Otsuka Low-Tech, but I think you went with the Colloquium.
Shit, I hoped you would vote Space One.
No.
But I did vote for the Colloquium. And you did an amazing analysis, because I ordered both immediately on the spot, and seeing the prototypes, I fell head over heels for both. But ratio is, I love astronomical watches, moon phases, and I mean, Just Tail Offre. Yes, this is the best thing that Guillaume Ledet did. And it might be that Wonder Boy and Sexy Boy gets criticism by bringing those old records, those musical hits back and not innovating. Well, I think he's shown it with the first chapter of Space One, and with the Tellurium, he hit a home run, because this is rewriting watchmaking history as well. And I usually call them unofficially the MBNF and UX for 3K. So do yourself a favor. I'm not saying go run and buy one, but at least study one and wear one, because it's amazing. But that's also ratio. The emotion is, Amma had a prototype of the Colloquium, I believe 2 years ago, on his wrist. And again, I often fall off my chair. Yeah.
You need to get a better chair, to be honest, mate. You're constantly on the floor.
No, it's always in bars, strangely enough, and it's always in Switzerland. And it's strangely, I see a pattern here. When you're around and too much of alcohol usage, do you think there's a correlation there, Rob?
I just think that the stools are a bit ropey in the Grand Duke. That's all it is. Nothing to do with the beer. Beer's great.
I always say I love to connect people, and 1 + 1 is not 2. It's synergy. And that's what you see with Colloquium and Space One. Space One, you see 2 geniuses together, but Colloquium are 3 geniuses together. And yeah, I don't know. I think all of them challenge, but because Colloquium is totally new and it's a new brand and it's their first chapter, they deserve it.
So that's it. Scores 7-5. Sorry, mate. Still undefeated. Keep coming.
Congrats. Well deserved. Good comeback.
Yeah, it's fortunate, I think. Some weird curveballs there and some almost impossible ones to choose between. Or shall we just very quickly say our biggest snub? We don't have much time, so we can't go into it too much, but which watch we think should have been in the contest. And then we'll also pick our favorite watch of everything. Just really quick. Couple of minutes,
yeah, sure.
And then we'll go for it. So
first snub, super subjective, Sherpa, TRTS edition. Sorry, I have to say it, and it should have been in there. And one of the biggest snubs for GPHG, there's no dive watch category.
Oh, yeah.
That made it difficult because the Ming and the Zenith and the Singer, 3 dive watches, took important positions in the sports category. So a double snub, in my humble opinion. The overall, I need more time. So you give me your snub while I'll think who's going to win the overall. Although I found my answer, by the way.
So, okay, super biased. Obviously, Arcanaut, devastating. I do think that maybe this is 1 year too early for the brand. But you look at some of the pieces that made it in there and you think, okay, they're really cool watches. But, could there be a little bit of diversity in these selections occasionally? I think so. I think there's space for that, but we'll see what the next year brings, basically. But I'm not too salty about it. I think it was extremely competitive number of nominations in the category in which we were entered. So we'll see next year if we can finally get up to that level.
Final notes on my side. Who do I think needs to win the overall? It's somebody or a brand or watchmaker or designer that does something totally new in that year. And a new brand in this award ceremony is Berneron. He did something new, total new design, had made a total new caliber, rethought putting the hour hand above the minute hand. It's a shape watch, a shape movement. He pushed the envelope so far, and obviously I'm biased. And I think he deserves this. So that's my pick. Very curious to hear yours, Rob.
Yeah, mine too. Absolutely same logic. I think it's, to be quite honest, easily the one that deserves to win it. But we shall see. We've had curveballs thrown at us in the past. So we're going to do our analysis show the following week after the awards are all said and done. So please do tune in for that. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can do so via the usual channels, either via our official Instagram page, which is at therealtime.show, or via our private channels at ROBNUDDS for me, at ALONBENJOSEPH for Alon and at DAVAUCHER for David. You can contact us via email, either Rob, Alon, or David at therealtime.show, or via the contact form on the website, www.therealtime.show. We'll be back soon to analyze the results of this incredible event. Until then, stay safe and keep on ticking.